is. I kind of had this image of like almost an orcish woman,
Mm.
but more in just like the tough looking skin and large build. But she didn't choose to go into the military like everyone expected her to. So she just became a studious old world scholar before the world went in the route of the tech it's gone. So
Mm.
my verbs are, study, multitask, and loom.
Mm. Like intimidation?
Yeah, because
Hey.
she's still got the build of a big soldier warrior, but she
Mm.
doesn't, and she can use that to act that way, but she doesn't actually
Mm.
isn't that way.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
Chastity?
Oh, hey, yeah. So Cassandra, she's muscular build, about like 5'10". She was part of a special forces unit that was specifically sort of this combination of tech and magic. Um, and she's near her 40s. Definitely has like some visible scars, just from battle and stuff like that, and has that grizzled attitude. And then also, what are words? She also, so like, I guess whatever this world's like sorcerer is, this kind of like innate magic, which is why she was chosen for the group in particular.
Nice.
But her had a serious situation that she ended up getting injured, both her legs gone and her left arm. Her legs are metal. Um, and it's obviously her left arm, but the left arm like shifts into a gun, like sort of Mega Man style, and
Nice.
she fucking
Cool.
but the innate magic she has is to like siphon whatever is the world sort of arcane shit going on. She's like able to siphon it from the earth, and that's what she shoots out of the gun. And so her verbs are mark, as in like hunter's mark. So like to make the shot more accurate, and then siphon, obviously to siphon up the energy, and then shoot. So, and then her adjectives are loyal, keen-eyed, and she's super dexterous. Dexterous because of those metal legs. They make her able to move really quickly.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's about it. I mean, and then her fear is fucking fear of the deep sea, because she's like, I will fucking drown.
Nice.
But
Pet
they didn't equip
vampire.
her with a rebreather.
So, I have Lieutenant Karen Dial, who is a former petty con artist who ended up enlisting in the military to avoid jail time, as one does, and has always just been a real dab hand at getting other people to do things, usually bad things. The military saw that, decided, we're going to use that, and took her in for extreme augmentation, sonic implants, vocal implants, all of it kind of hidden underneath of a very human veneer, very uncanny valley, perfect soldier looking kind of girl now. And she's basically used as like a commander bard. Her verbs specifically are inspire, convince, and play of the sonic trumpet that is her particular specialty weapon. Like, imagine Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy just blasting people with sonic waves.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's this unknown aspect. Is she fully brainwashed, convinced with all this augmentation, or is there still that, hey, get me the hell out of here underneath all of the augmentation? But very much the, I'm going to be here and you're all going to do great because I'm helping.
Blink twice if you need saving.
Nice.
Sort of like Captain America before he pulled off his stuff. Yeah.
Or
Yes.
Winter Soldier.
We're definitely Winter Soldier vibe.
Shape, go ahead.
Most definitely. I am playing as Clinton Paddles Ulgar. He is a failing, not failing, possibly failing ship captain whose boat has several times bottomed out at the sinking sea, but that's not his fault. That's somebody else's. His only goal is to keep the thing afloat. It is called the Unsinkable because thus far bottoming out is not sinking.
True. You're more likely to get covered in silt. than actually
Yeah,
sink.
if it's too shallow for it to get above the rim of it, then it's not really
Doesn't
sunk.
count. No.
Right, exactly. But yeah, his primary motivation is credits or coins, whichever's selling more that day, and which is also inherently his weakness, being a greedy bastard. But imagine, if you will, the luck of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean with the attitude of Lucifer Morningstar from the show. Not the comics. Yeah. That one's pretty good, but I mean the show.
Yeah.
But his whole thing is just talking his way out of everything and just kind of getting where he needs to go. Never seems to be lost, but is never sure of where he's going. So his verbs are understand, navigate, and lie. And his adjectives are observant, weird, because he's got a bit of the crazy, and litigiousness, because it is the only word that means morally gray. So.
Corruptish? Easily corrupted?
I mean, he's kind of an anti-hero,
Yeah.
you know? He's
Are we talking like Frank Castle anti-hero or like...
Sure. No, more probably closer to Deadpool, but you know, like Wade Wilson, where he's just like, opportunistic. There we go. That's a good I like one. That word too.
Nice.
Yes. Okay.
It took us 30 minutes to get here, but we found it.
And just to introduce myself, I'm Gavin. I am the primary game master for Balsamic Games. We've done some other shows. My partner, Andrea, has also game mastered a few of our shows. Specifically, she ran a vampire game. That was toward the beginning of this year. Went extremely well. We love Vampire. We love World of Darkness. We make our own games as well, she and I. So we're always testing out new things. The thing we're kind of testing out today that I started working on 2 days ago on a whim is based on Forged in the Dark games. You might know them from Blades in the Dark or Scum and Villainy. These are all sort of mission-based, heavy role-playing. They have a semi-linear game loop where it's sort of do a mission, return home, take some downtime, figure out what you want to do, go back out, and do the thing you want to do. I am actually not going to be playing a character, but I'm going to be playing your driver, who's going to be taking you to this mission. That is Minister Ardor. He is a cleric. He is a devotee to the Lady of Light. He is as wide as the ship he'll be carrying you on. It's basically a hover skid with a rocket engine strapped to the back of it. And you see another one as the four of you are arriving in the Grand City to meet with the Grand Council, who summoned you with a large bounty of credits being deposited directly into your account, no questions asked, and with a note that just said you are wanted by the Grand Council for your various skills. So when you arrive, you see another skiff fully loaded with grunts, and they look to be between their late 30s and probably just barely pushing 50, which you all might know in this universe is they're right on the edge of being pushed over into oblivion. So they're usually the first ones sent out on a mission, and they are heading directly toward where there is a smoking part of the forest that's nearby. And they are making a beeline straight for it when you all arrive. You see Ardor. He is about 5 foot tall, even with his helmet on, and about 5 feet wide with his armor on. And he is already loaded up on his skiff. And when you all come by, he has a scanner out. His scanner detects the four of you, and he says, "You're on my boat." And he leaves it at that. Say your goodbyes, and we're heading that same way. And the four of you have not met each other up to this point, so you've all given your descriptions of your characters. Maybe one little thing that if there was one thing the rest of the characters knew about you through the grapevine, what would that be? Let's start with Pet Vampire.
The sonic augmentations.
Okay, they're unusual.
Yes.
Nice.
And very obvious on the battlefield.
Shape.
The unsinkable. The boat. The boat that has only bottomed out but never sank.
Yeah. Chastity.
Jesus Christ. Fuck. Probably. Probably the fact that she siphons energy from the earth. Probably that.
Yeah, it's an unusual enough skill, or a magical skill, that most people haven't seen before. They see your weapon and they immediately know something's up. There's no place for ammo or anything.
Yeah.
It's got maybe sigils all over it or something.
Yeah, on her hand, actually, on her left hand, you would see this sort of like split between the middle of her hand, and it just kind of glows a little bit with like a weird silver blue light that you don't know where that's coming from.
And Jay?
Probably that despite essentially being an archaeologist and having to go to digs and stuff, is extremely uncomfortable being outside. Just always looking for shelter. Carries an umbrella that essentially has like a room interior on the inside just to simulate being inside.
Oh, okay, cool. Like a little VR or augmented reality experience.
She's working up to affording that.
Well,
right now it's more like a matte painting.
Ah, okay. Because I was going to say, with the amount of credits they gave you, maybe on the ride over you were able to upgrade.
That would be relieving.
You got paid.
Hey.
I used to have people guide me with when I wore a blindfold.
Oh,
until we got to where we were going. But
yeah. Okay.
The umbrella helps.
Yeah, I think Cassandra is like doing that thing of, it's a little bit standoffish, but she's like almost analyzing each person, and that like if she had augmented eyes, it would be very like Sherlock Holmes meets computer and is like looking at the person and, you know, information popping up type of situation.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Are you all willing immediately, or do you need some convincing from Arter? He doesn't seem to know a whole lot of what's going on, other than you four are coming with him, and that's the direction you're going.
Oh no, I think Cassandra goes right in. This is mission oriented.
Coins deposited?
Mm-hmm.
All of it? Or is there a secondary payment coming later?
I think that might be our first roll of the night. I'm just gonna make a 1 die fortune roll, and we'll see how that comes up. Higher numbers are better, and it looks like our dice bot has crashed. Yay!
You've
All
already
right.
cursed the dice.
Amazing.
Nope, didn't work for me either.
Is
Yeah.
that telling about the fortune that's going?
I told you. He's got the luck of Johnny Depp with,
Trying to see if I have some
straight
dice,
line.
some physical dice rolling around here somewhere.
Oh, I actually don't see just an exclamation point 1 in the listing. That might be why it's not working.
Am I in the wrong channel?
No, you're in special event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at the
Gotcha.
help menu
Oh, see.
on the DiceBot channel, and I don't see it just an exclamation point. I don't see a fortune either.
2 didn't work either.
Wild Magic, Minor Arcana.
Well, we actually do them right here in the special event channel. But yeah, it was working a minute ago. Shape rolled 2 dice, and Pet rolled 2 dice as well. But yeah, this seems to only happen on Tuesdays. We test it out throughout the week. We play on Tuesdays, and then just randomly, I think it's when they do their maintenance or something. Anyway, that super sucks. Does everyone have physical dice? Some D6s?
I can.
Okay.
I can go get mine.
All right.
I do.
I'm going to go grab some as well. I'll be right back.
I don't know. I think I do.
The hallmark of anyone who plays TTRPGs, a ton of dice.
Okay, you can't see it, but they're like scattered across my desk and on the ground next to me. Like,
Yeah.
I have a dice jail when I play. Like,
Okay, but do you cleanse your dice when they're cursed, when they're like rolling real bad?
sure.
Amazing. Perfect. I feel like I don't know a single person who plays TTRPGs that doesn't have a way of like, how do I fix my dice when they are against me?
I just forget about them, and then eventually they're like, "Use me, please," and then I'm like, "Okay, but are we playing nice today?"
Yeah.
I only
two
have
rolls.
so many, so if they cross me, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Do not cross me, dice.
All right. The maximum number of dice anyone should need is 4.
Oh, I get 2 more.
Yep, I got that.
Probably 3 is good, though.
Got it.
All right.
I was gonna get my at-home dice bag, but then I realized I only have 1d6 in there, so that wasn't gonna count.
The bad thing is I'm not even the dice goblin in my relationship. It's my partner.
Yeah, we've got a whole house full of dice goblins. Even all our kids are goblins.
Look, the click clack math rocks, man.
I did put away that.
They are. Oh,
All right, I'm gonna roll this 1 die. Fortune roll. Better numbers equal better. I rolled a 1.
take some convincing.
You read through the message that you received from the ground council one more time and realize there's no second payment coming.
Well, if I already got paid for the job, I don't need to go to it.
Yeah.
All right, so Cassandra was the first up on the skiff.
Yeah.
Does the skiff have like some sort of overhang ceiling type thing?
It kind of looks like a giant skateboard with a rocket engine on the back.
I was worried about.
There is an overhang for the pilot, and if you kind of got up close to him, you could probably use it a little.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably get as close as I can, and listen, the sooner we get to where we're going, the sooner I might find someplace to not look at that sky.
All right.
Karen bouncing up almost immediately on the heels of everyone else, just standing very proud, proper posture. Very good, soldiers, let's be on our way. Booming voice, very...
You see,
Oh, my stomach. Oh, Minister. I think I need to go this way. And starts walking away from the skiff.
He's just
Okay.
going to reach out and grab his sleeve. I believe you were ordered to come with us.
yeah,
Oh, tummy ache.
Don't worry. You'll be fine, I promise.
I get seasick.
We're not on the sea.
Yes.
It doesn't look like we're going on the sea. And it does look like you're coming with us.
Look at.
I think you have like all kinds of social verbs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have all of them.
Oh, okay.
Navigate.
So this could go back and forth for a while. Should we resolve it with a consensual die roll?
Sure.
Yeah, so what we can do is both of you just, give me an idea of what you're saying, see if you can work your verb and maybe an adjective if you're willing to lose an adjective to win this. And then you can make the roll. So you start with 1 die for any action, and then if you're able to work in a verb and work in an adjective, you can roll up to 3 dice. But you do lose that adjective for the rest of the mission.
But we don't lose the verb.
You don't lose the verb ever.
Or repeat use.
Yep.
100% lying.
Okay.
My stomach does not.
Yeah,
ache.
that makes sense. How about you, Karen?
So we're going to go with convince, and we are going to go. Listen, I understand we're all a little bit apprehensive, but the truth is the Grand Council needs us, and don't you want to do your best by the Council? I mean, we have been paid a great deal for this job.
Paid already. There's no second.
It was still a lot of money.
Money that was donated to a charity. Look, I'm gonna go to
Nice.
this.
So
Are you saying you're a charity case?
that sounds like that might be an assist from Zash.
I'll take it.
I was thinking the opposite, but for Karen.
Question is Paddles like physically, is he someone who looks weak?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. He is not.
Yeah. I think
He's a
she
talker,
puts-
not a fighter.
Cassandra puts her hand on his shoulder, the gun hand, but she puts her hand on his shoulder, and she says to him, "We can always get you some Pepto-Bismol if that's what you need for your stomach."
A little strong there.
So I'm going to say GM Fiat that with all of these threats and
I don't think I need to roll anymore.
yeah. You're like, yeah, if I walk away from this skiff, I'm probably not going to be alive. And you do notice that as you're having this conversation and delaying the skiff, all of the cameras on the street start turning inward toward you.
Yeah, as they start turning, I'm like avoiding all of their line of sights and just kind of like slowly backing onto the ship. Like, I've taken y'all so long. I thought we were getting on the ship.
And now we all are. And I finally let go of his sleeve and let him,
Arter grabs a huge lever, throws it back, and the rocket behind you ignites, and you go hovering down the road and toward probably the largest forest in the region. You can still see the smoldering ruins of what looks like a literal castle keep that fell out of the sky and crash landed in the middle of this forest. And as you are making your way in a relatively, and I wouldn't say leisurely, but it's at least a calm ride. But just as you're starting to get your bearings, you hear the sound of multiple machine guns firing in the distance. And
I think the first shot goes off and Cassandra's on the floor, like full flat on the floor. No reaction on her face, but
Nice.
body's on the floor.
And you hear grunts screaming and being torn apart even from the extreme distance. When you arrive, only about 2 minutes later, thanks to Paddles taking a few seconds of detour, it is clear that the skiff has been upended, is laying up against a very large tree, and where there was a crash-landed castle keep, according to some of the maps you received, there is now a castle keep that is standing straight up as if it had always been there. And additionally, you see the bodies of the grunts disintegrating before your eyes as they seem to be picked apart very quickly by possibly advanced microbes. But it's even eating their armor away and returning it to the earth. Nature is healing. But as they are disintegrating in front of you, you see that the edge, the sort of the border of the castle keep continues to grow. So you see material sort of flying together, rocks piling on top of each other and erecting a stone facade. And eventually the a bridge starts to be built, and a small moat starts to just sort of being eaten out of the ground. And when you come to a complete stop in a safe spot, Ardor tells you this is your stop, and by the time you are ready to potentially take a step off the skiff, it doesn't look like there was a battle here recently. It looks like a pretty nice place to take a picnic.
Are you sure it's here and not, 100 miles back that way?
Question for the lore weaver here. Is this something that Cassandra would have heard of happening before, like castles falling out of the sky type of shit?
You would have heard of that if it had ever happened before.
Okay.
It has not. That you're aware of.
Okay.
We just need to find Calcifer. We'll be okay.
Hal's really angry castle.
Hal's castle out of the sky.
Hal's castle from the sky, yeah.
So no looting the bodies, I guess.
We're starting strong. Okay.
Yeah. I think she takes out a flask. You don't know what the fuck's in here. And she drinks it. Her eyes go a little weird for a second, and then she's like, "Let's move out." But yeah, she immediately steps off. She's about her business.
Okay.
And again, Karen right on her heels. Well, that's not something you see every day.
No, it's not. I'm suddenly I'm distracted away from my agoraphobia.
Mm-hmm.
What is causing that? I must know. And I want to is it still building or is it done?
It appears to be still building.
Fascinating.
The moat is getting deeper, sort of by the moment.
Is there water or is it just a hole?
Not yet. It's currently just a hole.
Okay, so just a trench. No need to fear on my end. Yeah, I think Cassandra just beelines it. She's like, fucking, I was hired to do a job. I'm here to do the damn job. And maybe looks over her shoulder once and says, y'all coming?
Not willingly.
I believe we may want to assess the situation a bit further first. You're some sort of scholar, are you not? And she's pointing over at Zash.
Yes, I want to go. Don't just run into the disintegrating area. You might be next.
Yes, I'd rather not have to report back that you were consumed by some sort of unseen thing.
Who are you reporting back to?
The council.
Big brother.
I'm gonna pull out my research tablet and just take its camera to do scans of the area.
Okay, awesome.
And then see if I can see any microbes or nanotechnology or whatever.
Yeah.
To see what's happening.
Awesome. Okay.
And then can I also on top of that kind of get a lay of the land and navigate, if you will, and try and find either the safest path or at least the least dangerous.
Yeah, so the sort of obvious thing is that it does seem to be building a drawbridge that will go across the moat, presumably when the moat fills and it's finished building. So that would probably be the easiest way across, but the fastest way across would probably be some sort of flight. But I like the direction Zash is going as far as just making sure you're all safe and seeing what there is here. So I think Zash's will probably be an action roll. So what is the verb you want to use? It doesn't have to be a verb on your sheet. You just won't get an extra die.
I'm going to use one, and it's going to be study.
Okay, awesome. And an adjective, anything you can use there if you're willing to drop one for the rest of the adventure.
This seems pretty important. I'm gonna really focus.
Okay, awesome.
Be focused on this.
Sweet.
So,
So 3 dice. And
is the dice spot up, or are we still?
I think it is. I just tested it before I started talking about it, and I think it was still down.
Okay.
So, yeah, that looks like 3 dice.
So I roll 3, and unless it's 3 6s, I just take the highest.
Yeah, if it's 2 or more 6s, it's a critical. But if there's at least 1 6, you just take the 6. Yeah, you're taking the highest.
5.
Okay, so that's a success at a cost, or a partial success. So your machines do pick up what it is very, very quickly. It's definitely some sort of nanotechnology. You know this because the alerts that come up on your screen are huge visual indicators, but you're able to look at this to a much, much deeper degree. So you can ask some questions about sort of the nature of this nanotechnology, or areas where it's concentrating, or maybe even if you wanted to look into its programming, you might have the ability to do that.
I mean, I would like to know if I can discern what it's like, how far it wants to expand, and if it has a stopping point that it's going to reach.
Awesome. That sounds good. I think I can give you both of those things with a partial success. And I'm going to say that to scan them, you do have to sort of put your scanner into a field where you're detecting them so that it can sort of passively capture some. And does your device that you're using have a number of uses?
Yeah, I made it 3 uses.
Okay.
I think.
So I think as a part of the partial success, it's going to eat some of the battery power of the device, and so it's going to take 2 uses instead of 1.
Oh.
So yeah, at first you're able to detect them, and it even communicates with them in a very passive way. But then they leech onto the battery, and before you're able to separate yourself from them, it's already eaten some of the power. So what were the 2 questions you had real quick so I can answer those?
If they have a how far they essentially are planning to go, and where a stopping point is, if any.
Yeah, you're actually able to dissect a blueprint, basically. So you know exactly where they're going to go and where they're going to stop. They have a blueprint like in their sort of robotic DNA that you're able to extract no problem. You can see the extent of the castle grounds, and it does seem like it does stop here at the moat. Any other question? Or another question is fine.
I guess I'm curious, are they going to create water seemingly out of nothing, or are they hoping to find some under the ground?
Yeah, they're going to create a chemical process to fill the moat with water. All right.
Well, I just turn to everyone and say, we might be safe if we wait a minute, because it looks like it only has so much it's going to finish building before it stops expanding. Not 100% on that, but pretty sure.
How pretty sure?
How much of its battery did it eat up?
2/3. Well, an extra third above what you expected.
I was going to say 66%. That's pretty low. So.
Hey, you might as well lowball them.
90% sure.
I can accept those odds. So it's safe for us to go in?
Yeah.
When it seems like it stopped building, I would assume so, but.
All right.
All right. Anything?
Well,
yeah.
I think
ideas?
Cassandra's
anyone has?
like,
Yeah.
I think Cassandra is like, she's looking at that moat and she's looking like, don't trust that. But I would like to use, what would I like to use? You know, actually, it's not necessarily a thing that she has, but would sort of be a part of her background. That she actually turns her back to the building itself and is looking amongst the trees. When you say forest, is this like a, I don't know, like a fucking redwood forest, or are we talking about like rainforest type of?
Definitely more of a temperate forest, yeah.
Okay, so you would see Cassandra kind of like slightly like bent knees a little bit, and she's looking into the forest of other things that might be out there, trying to, like, this whole group of grunts that somehow got fucked up real bad, and she's like, where's the threat?
Right.
You know, so she's sort of looking, I think, for evidence of that. She knows the bodies have been disintegrated,
right.
But
yeah, she would know that the flora and fauna of this region are immense. The trees grow to 300 to 600 feet tall. The creature that lives out here, that's sort of the apex predator, is about a 15-foot long bear tiger. So, yeah, that's the kind of things you sort of come to expect, and it's the reason why a lot of people wear heavy armor even when they're just coming out for a stroll.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, as that sort of knowledge flows through her body, you would hear just this gentle whir go through her, or come from her, and you would see that glow just get a little bit brighter, as if she's, you know, like, I better prepare, because I don't know how well these guys are going to handle a large bear tiger.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just as you've got your bearings and you're done sort of taking that sort of opposite view patrol, making sure there are no other threats, Zash notices that the nanobots seem to all be deactivating as they have finished building and filling the moat.
Okay, looks like they're done, so it shouldn't disintegrate us.
Well, that's certainly positive news. I thank you for your assistance, soldier. I apologize. I don't believe we've gotten each other's names as of yet, have we? Would we have been given any intel prior to, or just?
I feel like maybe Karen was given everyone else's names, but I don't. I'm the dynamic I'm getting is that they wouldn't have been given your name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Karen was probably given like miniature dossiers on each of us, like with pictures, and like the whole shebang.
I'm 100% down with that being canon. Yeah. I think that makes perfect sense for the way you all built your characters. So, yeah.
So thank you for your assistance there, soldier. I suppose now is as good a time as any. I am your commanding officer, Lieutenant Karen Dial, and I believe now is the time where we need to accomplish our objective. I think we should go in.
Now,
that's not a soldier.
That was
just saying, not a soldier.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you're on this mission, you are.
Let me go ahead and put out what that mission exactly is, because I don't think I fully said it while we were on recording. But a floating keep, a castle tower, has fallen from the skies and crashed into a nearby wild forest. Your characters were brought in by the Grand Council from all over the world to investigate this situation, to identify and end any threats that may be present. You were chosen for your varied skill sets, or at least that might have been why you thought you were chosen, but I think we're realizing it might have been for another reason, for you guys to follow the grunts.
Yeah, I think... go ahead, you go first.
Oh, I just had a quick question. Are the grunts still firing on the castle?
They have all been disintegrated.
Oh, so all of them. I didn't know if there was like a platoon.
The only thing that's still around is the skiff that they were on got thrown into the trees. And so it's sort of sitting up at an angle against one of those extremely tall redwood-style trees.
I'm heading over to the skiff.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so two things. Does the skiff itself look damaged, like irreparably?
Not irreparably, no. It would take a lot of effort to get it to right itself, and it might get more damaged in the process of righting it, but no, it should have a fully functional rocket engine on it.
Well, it's a good thing we have Captain Paddles.
Not in character. I am giggling. Okay, in character, I think Cassandra will look at Karen and say, "You look stressed out. You all right? You look a little tense." That's all I'm saying.
I'm not sure what you mean. Listen, we have a job to do, so let's just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously,
if it's going to put us
on.
inside, I'm suddenly looking around, nervous again. Oh yeah, now that the science isn't distracting me. Can we get it? Can we get inside, please?
So
That is what we were paid to do, guys. Let's keep moving.
the drawbridge is currently closed, so you will.
Oh, I'm already, like I said, I'm heading towards that skiff.
Okay.
I have a plan.
Okay. The rocket engine seems to, as you get close, possibly have turned off because it's at such an angle. Some kind of safety measure, presumably. But otherwise, it seems to be more or less intact. There might be a crack where it hit the tree, but it shouldn't be enough to stop it from being potentially useful if righted.
Question.
Yeah.
Is the rocket facing towards the castle, or is it facing away from the castle?
It is facing toward the castle, at an angle, but definitely in the general direction of the castle. Yes.
Great. Can I use my navigation skills to try and get this thing like a, we'll say catapult, and just get it to just kind of right into a wall?
So let me get this right. So you're gonna climb up there, get to the controls, and then try to propel it like a missile?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me.
Presumably either carry us all onto the other side of the wall or just blow the wall to hell so we can just walk right in.
Yeah, I think it's a low hovercraft. It's got a very heavy engine on it.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And I think it's more likely that it would just ram into the wall and possibly leave you an opening.
Great. Then I'm going to put a stone on the pedal and get off the boat.
Okay. All right. When Arter sees you taking this tack, he's cheering you on. He's kind of a fan of misusing these rocket engines in a way that they weren't intended. So, all right. Yeah, he's kind of. Watching.
What are you doing?
You said that our mission was to go in, so I'm getting us in.
I think Cassandra puts a hand in front of both PV and I'm sorry, Karen and Zash, and like just slowly steps back.
Let's just stay away from the pending explosion.
Yeah, we're just
Let's let Paddles paddle himself into the moat.
Right. Yeah. I think that this is definitely a time for an adjective.
Yeah.
We're gonna use the weird. Because this is some weird science type shit.
I like the weird.
This is definitely weird science.
I love it.
Awesome.
The movie in an RPG.
Do you have a verb that would work for this as well?
Either navigate, right? Or I could use understand. Either of those. I think
navigate
works.
Makes sense to me. Okay, so 3 dice.
All hail the dice. Well, that's a 5.
Okay. Partial success.
I'll take it.
Okay, dice pot's still not working. Had to check. All right. Awesome. Partial success. That is fantastic. Those are the best. So you get to describe what happens when you fire this strange missile.
I feel like Paddles just kind of goes on there and goes, well, not quite the unsinkable, so let's sink it. And just kind of goes into the engine and starts tinkering with it. And then kind of sets a fuse so that like it misfires, but it's like one of those like the engine just can't stop revving. And then it just blasts forward. And I feel like they're trying to aim it at the door, right? To try and get it to like kind of fall down.
Yeah.
But like miscalculates where that goes.
Okay. Yeah. Man, so much fun potential to play with for a partial success.
I do what I can.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it misses the door, but it doesn't completely miss. So it hits the wall, it crumples the entire front end of the skiff, and then the engine itself explodes. It takes out a huge chunk of the wall, a small bit of the door, and almost all of the bridge. But it's enough that if you moved quickly, you could still probably jump from the bridge through the open hole, because the nanobots have reactivated and they are trying to rebuild the castle.
See,
Or not the castle, but the place where you just destroyed. And they are eating the skiff and like snuffing out the fires and everything as they're going about their business. So they seem to be more than sated for the moment.
Full on, just like go now, go now, go now!
Just gonna follow off. Just yeet over the bridge.
Yeah, I think well, like Cassandra, she does that military, like that drill run. You know what I'm saying? Like she's rocking it. So she does towards the entrance there. Yeah.
Captain Uldar, yes, remember the name.
Let's do this as a group action. So we'll have everybody roll whatever you can use. So if you have a verb, definitely use a verb if you have one that works for this. Might not be the right time to use an adjective because it's the whole group, and so what we're going to do is whoever rolls the highest, that's the result for the whole group. So don't feel the need to necessarily spend an adjective right now, but if you're worried that you're going to fail, or if you have a weakness that you need to make up for, maybe you might.
Yeah, because you said that moat is filled with water, right?
It is.
So we're gonna use dexterous, which is an adjective. We're gonna use that right now. So that's does that end up being 2 or 3 dice?
Is there a verb that you're able to use?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, so 2 dice.
My verbs are all okay. Cool.
So Karen's going to give a little inspiring shout as she's jumping over. We can do this, everyone! And use that as my verb.
Nice. All right, that's 2 dice for you. How about Zash?
Be 2 6s, darling.
Woo!
So we're looking at a cool 4.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything except potentially my agoraphobia driving me forward.
I think
inside.
that's your weakness.
Yeah.
So what I would do is roll 0 dice, and you can use that to refill if you're missing an adjective. Using your weakness allows you to refill one of your adjectives that you're missing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just kind of scrambling. I'm not really. It's not really a focused. I'm like, finally a roof.
So 0 dice is you roll 2 dice and you take the lower of the 2. And then how about shape? Or how about paddles?
I can again use the same 2 verbs of either navigate to find the safest route, or understand to see which like beams on the bridge are most likely to like collapse or whatever.
Yeah. I think
I'm
Navigate.
gonna abuse those two.
Yeah, I think navigate absolutely. Do you have an adjective, or do you just want to skip using an adjective?
No.
Okay.
I've already used one. I've got 3. I mean, now I've got 2, but
Yeah.
I ain't trying to die today. I mean, I am, but who cares? 5.
All right. Okay, so the only person who rolled a fail was Zash. So we'll say that Karen is able to take all of you across and get you all there safely, but Zash does nearly end up in the water. And when you disturb the surface of the water, the nanobots cling onto your foot. And as you're pulling your foot up, you are concerned about their activity, but they go back to their business pretty quickly.
Can I say that, like, almost as if she, like, has preternatural senses, her arm shoots out and she grabs Zash by the sleeve or something, to grab her and then pull her up to keep her from dropping into the water.
Nice.
Don't step there. Oh, well, too late.
And Karen, you get an extra effect, so you can add something else to this since you got a critical. So you do make it across and in through the hole before it closes back up. So anything else you want to add to that?
I think the only thing I would want to add is really, kind of immediately turning to get a general view of the surroundings and immediately suss out the situation inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So as soon as you all get your footing on the other side, the wall finishes being reconstructed, the last of the skiff disappears, and the sun goes behind a cloud. And you can see the castle keep looming ahead of you. It's 13 stories tall, of pure stone construction, and the door is currently wide open. And
I think Cassandra notices that it's 13 floors and is like, don't like that number.
You can
Well,
see.
I was told that there is no 13, only 14.
Yeah, just 12, 14. You can see several windows that appear to be closed off on some of the higher levels. But the front door is wide open.
Well, I suppose we may as well go in, right? I mean, there's not really any going back at this point.
Do you think what we're looking for is at the top, or do you think there's something below?
Either way, it's hell. Either way, we'll check both just to be safe.
Yeah, Cassandra goes into, military mode. She starts to, like, even the way she moves towards that entrance, she gets to, like, the edge of that entrance and has herself sort of sat like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could see, I think you can almost see on her face, she's, like, counting down a number in her head, and then we'll swiftly go in and sort of, like, sweep the area, and then you'll hear from inside, clear, if it is clear.
Yeah.
This is clear with there's
3 monsters inside just buried, and you're
like clear, so everybody else goes running in and it just gets slaughtered, and you're like, ha.
While the monsters are distracted, now I can shoot them.
Yeah.
Right.
GG. See you next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's clear, she'll say clear.
Yeah, I think everybody, even though they're just seeing this for the first time, everybody is getting like a sense of your timing, and it's starting to sort of filter out amongst the group. Any of them that have had even the most basic military experience, they're counting it down with you, without even really thinking about it, because you've got the body motions are just dead on. So yeah, they know exactly when you're going to turn, and they wait for you, and we're going to make an action roll. So what do you want to use for that?
Oh, we're going now. Oh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This would be just
shit.
Cassandra.
Right.
This is basically a gather information.
Yeah. So that's literally what I'm doing. It's not necessarily, unless I want to use the word, my verb mark. Originally kind of intended as like hunter's mark, but like maybe it's just like lay of the land situation when we're in there. So
awesome.
I would use mark.
Yeah, in Children of Midnight, our other game, we have target. That's the same basic idea. And in Blades in the Dark, they use hunt as their word. But yeah, the same exact idea. It's like not only what you use to mark your target, but it's also what you use to fire on a distant target. So yeah, it's kind of a perfect all-purpose. And yeah, it's great.
Wonderful.
They also have one called Survey, which is like the quick look kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. But yeah. Anyway, super cool. I one of the reasons why I built this system this way is I wanted to see what verbs everybody came up with and sort of compare them to the existing games. And I really thought it was very interesting, all the things you all came up with. So thank you for doing that.
It's funny you say that because I originally was going to call Mark Hunt. So, but hey.
Nice.
Okay, so that's 2 dice because I'm just using the verb, or just the one?
2 dice, verb plus 1 free die.
Okay, cool. Okay, it's a 5.
Wow, that's our third 5 in a row. Awesome.
Yeah, I know. The dice gods are on our side for now.
Okay.
So, you had to say something. Now you got sacrifice to him. Come on, give him a dice.
All right. You turn in on your mark completely silently, and you see a slab. It's shrouded in the darkness of the building. If the sun were out, you might be able to see a little bit deeper in. But you can see a slab, and you can see something rising up off of it, almost like an altar to one of the goddesses. But you get this sense of profanity, despite the fact that it looks like an altar. And
something rising out of it, as in like actively rising out of it, or so you hear "cool," and then she goes, "Nope, there's something in here," and it immediately gets down on one knee and is like preparing to shoot.
Yeah, you see it sort of turn, and you see legs swing down off of the slab, and then you see what looks like a giant warhammer being pulled up and set over its shoulder.
Don't like that.
Karen's gonna go in as a kind of immediate backup up against the door, summoning out the sonic trumpet, which is augmented in, and getting prepped to provide backup.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think because I can't right now think of a better word to use, but she's like target acquired. Out loud.
Yeah, I feel like Cassandra has the initiative here.
Yeah, as soon as Karen comes in, Karen would see that Cassandra's hand comes out, and if y'all have seen Black Panther,
what?
Andy Serkis character, you know how his arm like splits open and turns into
nice.
That's what happens to her arm as she's down on one knee, essentially marking her target to shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, quick question. Do we want to do Cassandra and Karen's actions as a group action? Or do we want to have Cassandra act first, and then Karen can decide if she wants to sort of mop up anything that's left?
Yeah, I think that's because she's just kind of pressed up against the door frame, like watching Cassandra and waiting for a cue if she needs assistance.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, when we use our verbs, right, is it like you can use, let's say, 2 verbs at the same time, or just one?
It's pretty much just one, yeah. That's why you want to have a range of verbs so you can be available in different situations, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in this, she is going to shoot.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
That's gonna be 2 or I'm sorry, 2 dice. That's gonna be 2 dice.
Okay, so shoot, but no adjective.
Not now. I've already used one.
Okay.
So that'll be 2 6s. if
Two
you guys want.
6s.
Oh,
Awesome.
I feel like it's gonna roll away.
No,
if
it's
I,
fine.
But
Very nice.
Oh, there goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do not need to show off.
Okay.
The fun of the thing is that
It's a nice
everybody.
dice tray, though.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
Yeah, it
Thanks
is.
so much.
I've got purple ones that look very similar, but they're not as nice as
Hey.
that.
I need
Alright.
one. I have a tendency to yeet my dice off the table.
So I'm thinking, Cassandra, you have powered this thing up. You know, like you have in the past, you have made sure this thing is well powered. So it's very ready to go, and you might even have a little bit more energy in there than you thought. So you can decide. I'm gonna say that you completely destroy this thing, if that's your intent, and you can go ahead and describe that however you'd like.
Yeah, so she's on one knee. Her arm does the thing, and then there is this sort of it sounds like a sonic pulse, right? Just this kind of boof sound that comes out of it. But what comes out is this like arcane streak that has these really like neon blue crackling around them, and the first shot hits the knee, the next shot hits the head.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, the body explodes in 2 different segments, and then that hammer comes flying toward you and goes straight through the doorway, missing both of you. And you notice as it comes to rest near Zash that it is made of flesh, and there's a chunk of arm that is still holding on to it. And
Foul, but amazing.
Sandra, impressive. Look at the soldier, or look at the hammer. That is disgusting.
when
I
you
wonder if it's worth anything.
I know a guy.
I
Picks
don't
it up
know. I
immediately.
can't know where you have merchants that you're going to sell a flesh hammer. I can't know that.
No, what?
Is it dead? What the hell was that?
Yeah, there's-
I don't
just-
know.
there is not much
Does the
left of
hammer-
it. Yeah.
Does the hammer look like you said, it's made of flesh? Does it look like it has any tattoos on it? I guess designs.
Designs,
Or is
yes.
it just a mass?
It looks like it is the flesh is intricately carved and peeled back from certain areas to expose muscle and bone. It still looks like it's living, but it doesn't look like it's alive still. But it looks like it was, until recently, as in a few seconds ago, living flesh.
Can I use my verb understand to try and figure out, like, if this is created by the machines, or if this is just like kind of this is like kind of like a ship per se, and there was something already here,
Yeah.
or if this is like, or if this thing is like the architect.
I think Zash has a good machine for that, but I don't know that you could possibly figure that out with the
I've got a
naked eye.
PDA.
You do? Okay, awesome. In that case, Zash has some codes that they could share with you if they're willing, that would allow you to do that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Let me send him over to you real fast. What's your entry code? And I just
Swipe it over to him. Okay. Understand? Anything else?
No, I'm not going to use an
Okay.
adjective right
2
now.
dice then.
Ooh, but do I? No, because I need a. I know, but this was supposed to be somewhat short, and
That's fair.
risk it for the biscuit. Risk it for the biscuit.
Okay.
I'm going to use observant as well.
Okay.
I've rolled 3, 4, 5 every time I've
Oh.
rolled 3 dice.
Well, it could be worse. I thought you were going to say I rolled 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
Imagine.
Ones would have been really bad.
Right, 3 ones.
ones.
Trash.
The worst roll we've ever had was 5 threes.
Don't listen to them.
So,
They don't know what they're talking
yeah.
about. It's okay. I believe in
It's
you.
okay, dice. It's okay.
Okay, so partial success. Yeah, you're detecting a low level of nanobots around, but they don't seem to be touching this thing at all. They're keeping their distance. So there's sort of like a layer of air around it, and then the nanobots are kind of hovering around it. But yeah, they seem unwilling to modify it or try to make any alterations to it.
Got it. So then, could I then presume that this is either directly associated with or is like a part of the architects of all of this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a we can take that as something that you're able to gather by going through the data and really understanding it. Yeah, let's go with yes.
Got it. Yeah, I will convey that information. Be like, well, may not be the best at shooty shoots, but I can tell you this: getting from point A to B is my thing, and this thing is definitely point A. It seems that it is either directly associated with or could be one of the architects of this facilities.
Could have been.
Good point.
I hope it's
in
not
pieces.
still alive.
I do.
We don't know if it's dead. I'm just saying.
I do have to hit you
You're
with.
holding it.
I do have to hit you with the partial of the partial success.
Yeah,
However,
that's what I was waiting on.
And that is, you find yourself swarmed by the nanobots. This might be the best time to react with a resist. The nanobots are going to try to pick you for parts.
Oh, it looks like I'm food. I'm gonna use my armor, my heavy.
Okay,
armor.
great. They
Start stripping it off.
Yeah, and you see where they're congregated, and you just fling it onto the piles of nanobots, and they just eat right through it. And yeah, after you get some of the biggest chunks off, they start going back about their business as if you were gone.
And I assume since that was a one-use thing, it's gone. Yes? So,
yeah, you still have some pieces. You can use it for other things, but you won't be able to use it to resist damage.
That's fine.
I think they liked it.
All right.
Like ants.
I want to approach the room and see the thing that it came out of, essentially.
Yeah, it's a...
Away from this hammer, please.
It is an altar of sorts, and it doesn't look like it came out of it as much as might have been resting on it. You see some electrodes and some other highly sophisticated pieces of electronics, but they have all sort of they've become part of the altar itself again. It looks like it might provide some sort of life support or possibly have some other surgical applications based on what you're seeing. It looked like stone from a distance, like a stone altar, but now that you're close to it, it's definitely just textured to look like it's made of stone. It is sort of gleaming white.
Zash, have you heard of anything like this before?
Yeah, I'm going to say no need for a roll. This is definitely outside of anything you've seen before. Have any of your characters, do you think, been off-world? Okay.
Mine for sure.
Then I would say, yeah, even the alien species that you've encountered haven't used technology that's like this in any way.
Oh, wow. No world I've ever been.
Should we look at the remains?
Because I know the room was in darkness, I'm just going to cast some minor spells to throw lights in the corners of the room.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll give that to you. So yeah, what color are the lights?
Darkest red. just a bright white light to make sure we can tell the details.
Fluorescent, my favorites.
Just as you finish expelling that magic from your body and sending those lights up into the corners, you hear the sound of chains and you see something start to descend into the room from the level above.
Oh shit.
My eyes are on it.
There are two pillars that are attached to the two walls on opposite sides, about 30 feet apart. And those pillars seem to come down through a sort of, not crack, but like a divot in the wall. Yeah, the pillars come down and sort of fill in that divot. And you see two massive chains attached at the bottom. Yeah, like a recess. Two massive chains, like the kind of thing you would use to hold like one of those skiffs. If you were like, this is going to prevent it from moving, even if somebody were to fire up the rocket. That's how thick those chains are. And they come down, and the two chains are pointed up at an angle. And just where the two chains meet, you see a pair of feet dangling. And the two chains come down further, and you can see additional smaller chains attached to the pillar. And then you see a woman's body at the center of this pillar, and she has the same markings on her flesh as that hand that you saw outside. She has
This is giving me Hellraiser.
Thank you. Good. Okay. Good. That's what it is.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, bro, did we just open the box? Like,
We definitely.
She has her hands crossed in front of
To
her.
be fair, the door was open already.
Mm-hmm. They wanted people to come in here. They wanted people to pass the first few tests themselves. So
Here we go.
she has her hand in front of her chest, and as she is lowered down, you can see something gold and black in her hands. And as the pillars finally reach the bottom, the chains detach from the wall and come back into her body. And she drops gently to the floor. And she is smaller than all of you. Even Paddles outside of his armor. She's still just a hair shorter. She doesn't look menacing in the least, aside from the fact that she is covered in heavily modified flesh, and her internal organs are showing through a bit of her skin. She quietly takes a step forward, and she waves, but not at you, and you feel a vibration pass by you, and you see all the nanobots clumped so hard that they become visible, and they splash against the walls and away from you, and then to the ground. And so at least you know you're safe from them. She steps forward and holds the box and says, "Thank you for coming to visit us. I have a gift." And
I'm going to
holds it
scramble
out.
behind Karen.
Oh, I hate it. Me hates it. Okay.
as soon as you started describing the chains, and I was like, this is Hellraiser. This is Hellraiser.
Can you believe I just rolled this up randomly?
This is
Hellraiser, Castlevania, and Space Marines? Okay, I think I can make that work.
Oh, God.
This will work.
I think we're going to leave it there with you all deciding what decision you're going to make, whether you're going to try to create an alliance with the Cenobites or whether you're going to reject their gift.
I'm using my weakness.
What's that?
Greed.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to...
We're in trouble.
So that's where we stop. The camera draws away as Karen tries to put her hand on Paddle's shoulder as Paddles leaps forward toward the box. All right.
Gag, just come back here. She's gonna have him on a child leash by the end of this.
Well, that is the end of this. We're going to say goodbye to our characters for the time being, and
was fun.
I think that was a very successful screen test. You all were awesome. And I want to say thank you to all the people who are watching, who came in to watch this. And now I want to open up the floor real quick and see if there are any, if there's anyone that wants to ask any questions to any of you about your past experiences streaming or role playing, why you made certain character choices today. But before we do that, does anybody have a? Does anybody want to talk? I'm looking over at the chat window. Does anybody have any questions right offhand? Because otherwise, I have another way I can go.
Ooh,
Hey.
looks like we may have one.
Also, memes in chat were on point. That was great.
I didn't look at them because I was like,
Oh
Albert.
god, I opened up the chat and I was like, this is a bad idea, but I'm sticking with it. I am here for this.
I was like, I have to keep. It's too funny.
No one got my John Cena joke.
I got it.
I missed it.
joke.
I missed it.
I was like, oh, I didn't expect to see that meme here because you can't see John Cena.
No.
I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Well, I
wouldn't
guess
have
no one
gotten
saw
one.
that joke.
Yeah.
I heard that joke more times than I care to acknowledge because I had a friend who did a show that was a wrestling themed show and there was a John Cena character in it.
Amazing.
So many times throughout the night we heard that one.
Oh wow! Now I see chat. Okay, sorry about that. Let me re-minimize this. Okay. So I can't see chat. I can't see that
Do you have
chat.
it on your phone?
Oh, good point. Yeah. Oh, I think it'll disconnect me if I try to join from my phone.
No, if there's a way to go in, when you click on it, it won't say join right away. You should be able to see there should be like a little text button,
Okay.
right? And you can click on that. It'll
Oh, okay. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it won't disconnect you immediately. You have to click join.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay.
This is how I do it when I run my game on Saturdays because
Very
my
nice.
players like to use the chat to have their secret conversation. And they don't know that I found a way to get in.
It will not let me scroll
Oh
on my phone. So I can see the last, 8 messages from agreed
Those are
it's
the
very
important
good down to like a glass frog. So
You have to wait to see the memes. It's fine.
So I think we have 2 people that have voice access. At the very least, we have Morningstar and Andrea that have voice access, so they can ask questions. So just feel free to pop in and ask any questions that you want. I was gonna go through and ask everybody what they felt like were the coolest moments, except with a little twist, for everybody to pick a different player and say what they think their coolest moment was. Let's start with Karen, since your head's bobbing.
Oh yeah, makeshift rocket is definitely my favorite.
Nice.
Battles with the makeshift rocket being just, we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
As soon as you said it was still around, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing.
I was thinking a means of escape, but he was like, we're gonna ram this into the castle.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, am I gonna have to grab him again?
Yeah.
Fight him back again.
I definitely didn't see that coming, but I guess it's not my ship.
Right.
Yeah. No, I was thinking when I say means of escape for us, shit should get a little too crazy. We need to make a quick escape type of deal.
That would be good
That's what
too.
I was thinking. Yeah.
My NPC that I made as the example character, originally his weapon was going to be that rocket. He would he was an engineer, so he would detach the rocket and literally use it to incinerate people as his main weapon. And then I was like, ooh, I don't want to give away, just in case somebody else comes up with that, I don't want to have influenced everybody. So I was like, I'll just put that he has the skid, and that's it. But yeah.
I love that.
I'll say I think my favorite moment was actually Zash coming out of their sort of agoraphobia through study. That was really cool. It's superseding your fear.
It's basically the only thing that can keep her focused.
Same.
Love it.
That was mine.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, I was like, ooh, yes.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was very clever. Like
yeah,
that.
very good role play. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I really was worried that Warhammer person was going to be a pain in the ass, but then Cassandra just obliterates it in one go.
Crit.
Yeah. I got lucky on that. I don't know how often that happens, but I was like, yes.
I had
Get to destroy the scary demon thing. Yeah.
I had a bunch of other monsters, and I had a mega fauna. If there was a chance that you guys were going to spend a lot of time outside of the area, I was going to have one of the mega fauna come and attack. But I was glad we didn't.
Was it a tiger bear or is it a bear tiger?
I actually hadn't. I made that up off the top of my head. I hadn't actually decided. I thought about, since it was Castlevania, I was going to have a warg rider in that first room, just like in Symphony of the Night, but...
Yeah. Amazing.
The great thing about these games is that the GM really only needs to come up with obstacles, and they can really do them at the time that you're encountering it. You don't really need to know what the obstacles are ahead of time. I usually wake up with some ideas, and I'll jot them down, but prep for these games is relatively minimal. And you saw character creation took, once you had it down, it'd probably take you like 3 minutes to pound out another character. And yet they came out really unique and really interesting, and they're absolutely their own thing. All Forged in the Dark games are that way. You start with usually a playbook, and it's like, oh, this is all I have is just what's on this sheet. But then your characters end up so unique, and you'll meet another person of the same playbook, and you'll be like, we are not the same.
Yeah, I enjoyed how when we were putting up the descriptions, everyone was like, oh, this is all kind of similar, but we had such a different dynamic going on. Like, everybody had a really different interpretation.
Absolutely.
I loved that. That was really fun.
Yeah. I think, like, when I was looking at the PDF, I was like, well, because for me, it gave off very, like, altered carbon type of cyberpunk vibe. And I was like, okay, just, like, add some Eldritch Horror in there, and I think I got what this is about. And,
you nailed it.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, she'll be super modified, but in that way that's like, in my mind, she like definitely has like the PTSD. She definitely has trauma, right, from just her experiences and stuff. But that she is somebody who, because she's 40 and people don't really make it that far in this world, that like she kind of wears that with pride. So there's no like, in terms of her clothing, right? Her metal legs are on display. Like you can see them very much. Think like, I don't know, Camille from League of Legends, where she's got the blade legs. It's like that. And then like she's wearing sleeveless, so you can see that she's got that whole metal arm. Even if it has like synthetic flesh over it, it's, that's the vibe for her. Yeah. Very cool.
I really like, because the way I was reading the PDF is that like magic is mostly skill based, and it's mostly used for like everyday things. So I was like imagining that if I got to use my multitask to study something, it would be to like, panels of information over an eye while studying something, and just
like tabs opening.
And just like zeroing in.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I definitely had this feeling if we had gotten to go on longer, Karen and Cassandra would either been best friends or killing each other. No middle ground. None whatsoever.
But Paddles would be dead.
For sure.
The rest of you, different vibes. Paddles definitely dead.
No, I think, but at least between like Cassandra and Karen, that I think like, there would have been moments where Cassandra would have been like looking at Karen to try to see like, okay, where's the implant? Where's the thing that's keeping her locked in that body, Also like the internal versus external implants dichotomy I thought was really cool between the two of them, really just like a neat contrast. Trying to show like the cracks in the facade, deconstructing that Captain America character.
I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
noticed
yeah.
that. That was cool.
I live for it.
Yeah. I'm like,
Thatch should be protected at all costs. Like, Thatch is
Yeah.
precious and needs to be protected at all costs.
absolutely, 100%. Paddles, you're like, I'm a
Protected
little
giant.
worried. I was like,
Right.
is he sober? I don't know.
He's got like an implant that just kind of like drains alcohol slowly into his system.
A drip, a nice IV drip going.
Pirate Renaissance.
So you always have a buzz going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah,
it's how I
yeah.
stay calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, steady hands, steady hands.
It's very much like, what the heck is that movie? Blazing Saddles.
Mm.
Love that movie. Yeah. I'm fine. I've got steady hands. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Well, it was awesome meeting all of you. I'm going to more or less shut this down for the moment. But yeah, I will definitely be in communication with all of you. You were all fantastic. And yeah, we can't wait to integrate you more into this whole big community we have growing here, and make sure that we get some more games going that are more permanent.
Mm-hmm.
I run games every other Tuesday here, so next Tuesday I'll be running our 1930s era witches game. That's
fun.
Children of Midnight. And yeah, they're playing bootleggers that make magical liquor. Their patron spirit is the Green Fairy. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so they're and they run their business out of a subway car that attaches to the back of a subway train, and then that's how they receive their patrons. Because the Fae have a lock on the city and its clubs, because they can just open portals into the Fae world, and then everybody can go in there and drink where it's legal, and they can just move that door around wherever they want. So the Fae really have it locked down. But these characters, they are no friends of the Fae that have the lockdown on Manhattan's prohibition. So
It's in New York. Yes.
Yeah, so
Fuck
Children of Midnight, Midnight equals Manhattan. So they were playing before it was called Midnight. But anyway, whole fun thing. It's a Forged in the Dark game, so what you guys saw here tonight, very similar to that, just without the adjectives, and with 12 verbs that everybody has.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Otherwise,
We judged the
pretty much
system, though,
the
for
same.
2 days. This was...
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
actually in the process of converting it and making it its own full-fledged system, giving it a few other tweaks. Because Forged in the Dark is a little too mission based, and so I wanted to make something that's has a little bit more of a free flow to it. So that's kind of what we're doing here. But that setting was literally pulled straight from a setting randomizer. I love that everybody saw things in there that they thought were interesting and pulled those out and were able to make those part of their character. That was the real test of all this, is seeing the world, visualizing the world, whether seeing altered carbon in it. There was no right answer, but there was no wrong answer either. But there were more right answers, and all of the answers you guys gave were the right answer.
The chains gave it away. I was like, that's Cenobites. I was like, this is not racist. There's nothing else this could be.
I felt like there was
so reference light. I don't get most of these things. I know of them, but I'm like, I've never seen any of this stuff.
Oh man, Hellraiser has
Wild.
Extensive lore. Like they have comics. The comics are so gnarly.
But if you want to just dip your toes in, there's a new Hellraiser movie that's kind of a reboot of the whole thing, and it's actually really, really good. That's where I got the Queen Cenobite from. Straight from that. Because normally it's Pinhead, which she's Pinhead as well, but.
Wait, I was gonna say, is it a reboot or is it a continuation? Because I thought she was supposed to be the girl from the first one.
No, it's well, if it is, they haven't. That was not in the movie, but I would. I don't.
Comic, she becomes a Cenobite.
Yeah, well, yeah. They originally Clive Barker originally had Pinhead as a woman, so yeah, it's just been it's kind of been all over the place. They were like, he has to be a man in the original movie because of Freddy and Jason and everything. They had to have another man so they
another
could,
dude.
yeah. So they gender swapped him. But they finally got him back.
Yeah.
It's a completely weird, different race. They don't subscribe to our gender
Exactly.
roles.
That's my
Well, the
vibe on
Cenobites
that.
are human. They're humans that have been tortured into this.
Oh, understood. Yeah.
They're so like Pinhead in the comics. He's a army general, or
Yeah.
like I don't remember if he's a general, but he was from like World War One, I think.
Yeah.
And he was about to get blown up, and he ends up like praying, and Leviathan, which is like their main deity, like rips him from the world to save him. And it's like
You do.
As you do.
As you do, exactly.
That's what one does.
I do like in the new one though that they show something that like I feel like they hinted at in the old ones, where like if you solve the puzzle box, you had like 5 choices.
Right.
It
wasn't just automatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool. All right. Well, like I said, I'll be in touch with all of you. Thank you so much for coming in for this. Expect there to be another similar screen test that you'll see come up probably in the next week or two with some different players. And feel free to join those as spectator, and I'll give you access so you guys can ask questions too, since you've already gone through this process. And we'll be generating a whole new world and doing it again from scratch. So
Hell yeah.
All right.
All right then.
We're doing.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
I appreciate all of you.